Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Renko Edge, our weekly look at the Renko charts in the future as well for the possibility of potential trades, like I said, for that week ahead. So let's jump first of all into our usual seasonality chart. And the months are flying by at the moment. November nearly gone from us. What does December bring? Cotton. No, let's start in the softs. Cotton, not bad. Pretty strong there for December. Whereas around the last week of November, so that's looking good. Orange juice, as we'll see shortly, is heading still south. What else then? In soft sugar, should be getting stronger for a little period of time. Has been struggling of late. Cattle meats, nothing special there. Grains, we should start to see some strength in corn, and soybeans continues its sort of seasonal harvesting type trade, and oats there a bit positive. Rough rice flips to more bearishness, and the metals, I would say probably the pick of the bunch: palladium, platinum, silver for the second half of December and into January. And then into the energy sector, we've got weakness across all of them, other than nat gas that has been strong, sort of fades out mid-December, starts to turn weak then into the new year. Crude oil should start to pick up again, seasonality wise, sort of mid-December, so something to look out for there. But really, I suppose the area to focus on for December is Santa rally time. If we are going to get a Santa rally, let's hope so. There we go. We can see, take your pick of whatever indices you like to choose from. Good place to start: the S&P 500, Nasdaq, Dow Jones, any of those US ones. If you're in the UK, FTSE. The DAX has not been doing that well. Gets a bit stronger over the Christmas period, so maybe if you're in mainland Europe, one to look out for. And the Nikkei 225 also does particularly well this time of year. So let's head into our usual look at the charts, and we will start. Let's get right to the top. Copper in the metals, and I've left on a lot of the Fibonacci lines from last week, so we can see how those trade ideas and what we talked about previously play out. And as you can see, copper stuck in that sort of band there, 4.966 to 5.14, those two Fibonacci lines. A lot of sideways noise through that lot. Looking weaker at the moment. Possibility of a 4.749 target. Indicators all pointing weak. Shorter medium term, flat, weak, bearish. Seasonality does favour us at this time of year. Large traders, large speculators, all a bit bearish. So it's a very neutral feel there for copper. Then gold has been the darling of the metals recently. It's not looking so good there at the moment. Coming off those highs, 400 area, just up there, struggling around, let's call it the 4,000 sort of zone. With downsides, that next Fibonacci 3,900, and I'd call it 3,800, and then 3,650. Upsides, it's got to get through that recent spike there around 4,200 before pushing back towards those highs. But at the moment, where you see they're flat in the medium and short term, seasonality not too bad. Large speculators flat, volatility coming down, it's not so good. So again, it feels a bit dead, bit sideways at the moment. Probably the same in silver if we look at that, coming off that sort of near double top again, falling back down to 48.5. Looks like it's heading there. Got some noise over there as well. That sort of double top pattern could give us a move down into $44, $43 possibly. At the moment, you wouldn't be going long. It's all looking short at the moment. Mixed bag in the short and medium term. large speculators, weak bearish. We have got some seasonality there. So silver looking weak bearish. Palladium, again, another one similar shape to the other metals. Let's just get on that Fibonacci quickly. For a potential target, 38.2% Fibonacci line down here at 1437, 1438. Got a lot of noise there, so we could get a bit of support in around that number. Potential burst back up to the 1559s or down to the 1339s. And then palladium, well, we've been banging on this one for weeks and weeks actually. That sort of weak heads and shoulders pattern in there playing out as we were talking about, probably down into here, 1300, 1200 sort of zone. Although seasonality and the commitment of traders all looking a bit more positive on palladium, but short and medium term also negative neutral. So again, another one you can't really go long at the moment until the signs, the signals, time your way in with the technicals, but it does look again weak there in palladium. Then into the currencies, what's the dollar been doing? Well, that's topped out around 100 and just starting to reverse. So looking a bit weaker again at the moment. Maybe for a move to 99.8, 99.4. So that would have an impact on our currency pairs that we might want to trade. Let's jump over to them, see what the currency strength looks like. So starting with Australian dollar, top left, we've got the US dollar still being stronger than the Australian dollar, as we can see down there. And it looks like Australian dollar heading back towards those lows of 0.6427 at the moment. Into the middle there, the pound, that sort of double bottom pattern in there, looking a bit more strong against the dollar. You can see the red line above the black, that means the pound stronger than the dollar. So we'd be targeting maybe 1.3138, 1.317 again to the upside, that nice sort of W pattern building up there. Canadian dollar looks weak for a possible further move down to into that sort of blank zone there, which is 0.7055, so maybe a bit of a move there. See the strength in the US dollar picking up there. Euros bouncing off those lows at 1.15. As you can see, currency strength light blue above the black, that's good for the euro. Looks like it's coming up to that 38.2 Fibonacci line there, which is 1.15685, and then 1.1587, where we can start to see a lot of noise in there, which was where it slipped on down to those lows. So that looks like your ultimate target there in the shorter term for the euro. Swiss franc, sort of similar shape. We've had that pullback back down to the lows that we saw back in early November. Double bottom put in, heading looking back for 1.245. You can see Swiss franc stronger than the US dollar at the moment. Finally, Japanese yen pulled back massively and then recovered, hit that Fibonacci line 61.8, the key one, reversing back down to what looks like the lows 0.006349. US dollar just getting above the Japanese yen there, forcing that weakness. So interesting bunch there for currencies. Let's jump back to and go to crypto world now, which has been a bit of a talk the town lately. That fall in the crypto, what's that done from its height? Let's have a look. So from the high down to where it is now, that's 34% fall in Bitcoin, and left these markers on from last week. Like I said, the Fibonacci, and you see we targeting that 86 sort of thousand zone. It reached our target. Still looking weak. Our next downside is 75,000, and then after that 63,000. That would be very interesting if it did get there, but Short-term indicators starting to maybe turn around. Maybe it's done enough now. You're looking upsides, 95,000, then 101,000. Flattish in the short and medium terms here. Nothing to take home about. But again, dangerous to take a long trade at the moment. Looking still short. Ethereum, what have we got? Same pattern. Heading down, down and down. Where could we go next? It's 2,500. Nice sort of roundy sort of number there, is it? A bit worrying. 2,500 and then 2,200. Still looking weak on the indicators. Neutral, short, medium term, maybe weak bearish at best. Recovery 3165 is the target, where you had that breakdown from that low there and it snapped, and then support comes resistance, support. Typical example there. Let's zoom in a bit, see that a bit better. You can see really didn't want to go back above 3165 area, then came on down 2733 to early 2700s. So crypto still looking weak. Into energy, WTI again, another weak one. Seasonality wise, like we said, it picks up mid-December, so we've got some strength coming towards it. Large speculators are short at the moment. Not much going on in the short medium term, probably weak bearish in this downtrend, heading towards 56.68, 56.5, where those lows. If it breaks that, next stop 53, then 51. So I suppose the upside through that zone there doesn't look much better than 59, sort of 60 to 61.5 in that bucket of noise there. So crude oil certainly looking weak bearish at the moment. Heating oil, similar signs, quite correlated, heading down towards those lows, 2.14. Nat gas has been seasonally strong, just returning. Look at the way that hugged to that Fibonacci line, left them on from last week as well. Upsize, if it still carries on, 5.189, but remember it does switch seasonality to be a bit weaker, not too distant future, but at the moment still looking strong. What else we got? Volatility is quietish for nat gas. It is a dangerous one to play, nat gas, in terms of volatility. Call it neutral there in the short and medium term price action, but we want to see it break above those highs to push up towards the 5 zone. RBOB, similar to heating oil, heading back towards those lows around 1.76, and then into the indices. S&P 500 hasn't been doing so well of late. Let's just pull that back so we can see what's been going on a bit more clearly. So that was the run-up back from April time, and then really you could say since September it has been a bit of a sideways shift between 6,500 and 6,900 really, and we're just touching the lows of those at the moment. Next downside is 6,250. Get through the upside, we'll be targeting 7,400. Remember we talked about Santa Rally, we'll be looking out for that, any potential upside breaks. At the moment it's just bouncing, like I said, off the bottom there around the 6,500, mid 6,550 sort of zone. Maybe stabilizing. In terms of seasonality, obviously it does pick up. Large speculators bearish, not much in the way of volatility at the moment, only 13%, so very quiet. Short term picking up a little bit, and the medium term as well, so maybe some signs for a recovery into the mid 6,750 zone. And the Nasdaq 100, similar sort of story, that same run up as we can see there, and then that same sideways piece of action just in there between 24,300 and 26,200. Downsides, key Fibonacci is 22,794, and then upsize 28,649. Seasonality again good, coming up. Large speculators looking good and strong as well. Volatility, nothing special around 18. Short term picking up a bit. Medium term just reversing from that recent sell-off. You can see again in there in the longer term. Maybe we got a little bite going on to something up to about 25,000. We see what happens there. Can it hold around there and then push up towards the 26,000s? And over to India, Nifty, after hitting highs 26,196, just reversing back, heading towards the key Fibonacci 25,872. A lot of noise around that area as well. So weak in the short term at the moment. Look for a potential buy the dip opportunity there. German stock market, the DAX, really hasn't been exciting for a very long time, a bit like the UK one over here as well. You can see that sideways top range really since May between, what is it, those orange bands, 23,000, 24,800, 25,000 heading towards, but again it looks weak. This trend heading back towards those lows at 23,000, and then it's 22,500. And then last indices, the Nikkei, again similar story to the rest, topped out, reversed back, Fibonacci line at 48,000, then 44,500. It breaks on down there. What else can we tell? Well, seasonality is not too bad this time of year, so hopefully that can strengthen it back towards those highs again, but some downside numbers there for you. Look out for the 44,500 zone. Into the softs, we said cotton did pick up seasonality wise, but looking at that chart, it's a bit of a mess at the moment. So you could say short term bullish maybe. See that little upturn, upkick there. You're looking at back to highs at around 66. You can see the seasonality, they're getting stronger. Large speculators are stronger, so maybe this is one to watch. Cotton picking up, short medium term also looking stronger, so I want to keep an eye on. Coffee, again, not the best of looking pictures really. Let's get on some Fibonacci's, see if anything shows up. Go a bit longer term, where you can see there bounced off that key line 358, bit of noise over there as well. Fortunately, coming up to this Fibonacci too quickly, 376, that could be the point to watch out for. Again, you've got noise over there. We did have this sort of heads and shoulders type pattern, and looking at the numbers wise, that sort of played out, so it might have hit the bottom there to bounce back up towards the 400 zone. And then orange juice hasn't been great for orange juice, and it still continues to be poor for orange juice. Heading south and more south, no hurricane season yet to ping it back up really quickly. 111 looking like the next target there. And cocoa also hasn't been doing that well, also heading weak again, looking like it's going down to 400 or 500. You could see that there on the chart, you can see that trend coming down. What else have we got? Looks like we just have a bit of a freeze. No, it looks like we are still in computer freeze mode. That's always great for a live stream. There we go. It's sort of coming back. It's a bit behind. Sorry about that. Let's go to sugar. Sugar, we was hoping that it had some sort of bounce back from the lows. 14, nice round number again, looking a bit more positive. See short medium term, maybe call that a bit more positive. We're looking in targets in the short term, we're going to have to take that high there to the low at 14. And what would we be looking at? Well, it's got this overhead here already at 15.12. Sort of tallies with that noise over there as well, so that might be a struggle to get through, and you might actually see it reverse back down towards the 14s. But if it can get through there, then I think up to 16 could be a possibility. And then into some meats, weakness there in the cattle, just pausing around that Fibonacci line 213, the key one. Downside 205, upside I'd be targeting 226. Seasonality wise, it does come back this sort of time of year as well, into January, so something to watch there. Feeder cattle looking a bit weaker than the live cattle, and where would be going? They've got this Fibonacci zone here. Let's just pull that back. 305, 307, and then downsides after that 290, 268. But at the moment looking a bit weak. Volatility's picked up quite nicely though, up to 40%. These are your short and medium term, both looking weak as well. Hogs, also another weak one, just breaking down below those lows. You can see it's been heading that way for a while, and could it be 68 the next? It seems a long fall down there, but that's the next target, 68. And let's just jump down to the grains. Now corn has a few more weeks left of weakness, and then we see some strength coming in, but you can see it's banging around that noise at 443, back down to there, 415 possibly, and then hopefully a buy the dip move. But at the moment you wouldn't be going long. You can see there's the seasonality picking up. The large speculators are short. It's looking weak in the shorter term as well. So again, it's a timing trade, that one. Soybean still got some strength left in it, but maybe a bit of profit taking, other factors bringing it back down to this 1121 area. Look for another buy the dip to get to the highs again. Will it run out of strength by the time it gets there? Quite possibly. Might struggle to break on up to 1198. More likely it's downside 1095, 1076. Like I say, you see a bit less seasonality left there. Large speculator still holding strong, but a bit of a mixed bag there in the short medium term. And oil, soybean oil, that is heading south, looking like it's targeting 48.5. And meal again topped out at those highs. I'd say 314 or 310 area, possible target, and if it breaks there, then I say that next one, call it 300 to 295, into that sort of zone. And let's wrap up with wheat. What have we got? Wheat has been a mess. We've been looking for some positivity in wheat for quite a long time, but nothing really showing up. You still got that sort of downish sort of wedge playing out, and it just looks like it's still coming down into the 500 to 480 sort of zone in there. So nothing really exciting there in wheat to the upside, just looking like it's continuing down south. So there you go. That's our quick analysis of the markets. Crypto still looking weak, dollars just going weaker, so maybe some opportunities from upside currency pairs. Orange juice, cocoa still weak as well. We haven't got many bullish ones on there this week. What else did we have? Looking down the list there, looking for some corn positivity. Oil weak. The indices as well gone a bit sideways, but hopefully the Santa rally that will G everything up, will bring out some positivity for December. So there you go. Just to remind you, we got the November Black Friday sale on at the moment. Check out my website, which is www.thestophunter.co.uk for, let me just put that on the screen, for the offers that we got on the digital products there. Renko bundle, which is literally everything chucked into one big package for you. 60% off at the moment. We also got tickets to the Renko Masterclass. Only a few left at the sale price. Once they've gone as well. So, something for you to check out. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Good luck with the trading this week, and we'll see you all again this time next week. See you later.